So, hi, I'm Alina.
And my name is Alex.
Okay, we are married and we live in Russia. Talking to each other is our hobby, and we decided to transform this hobby into something more valuable for society.
Into a full-fledged podcast program / anything.
Yeah. Yes, and today is our first episode. Getting to know us.
Is there any particular name of what we do?
You mean the podcast or the first episode?
Yeah, the podcast itself, or
Russian Family Podcast?
Russian Family Podcast.
Yeah, Russian Family Podcast.
That's nice. Exactly how we're doing that in English, because I am a Russian-speaking person. You're native in Russian.
Yes. We
Why
have to.
English?
We have to specify one thing that we are Russians. So yes.
Yes, we are.
Russians.
100% Russian.
100%. And Russian is our first language. English is our second/third language.
Yeah, more
for
or
me,
less.
Yeah, more or less. Okay. And we decided to make it in English because, okay, first of all, when I came to you with this idea, I want to have a podcast with you.
That's strange, really.
As if it's not enough to talk to you at home, yeah.
Exactly. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No, that's not true. We don't talk too much recently, but...
We don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
We don't talk anymore like we used to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're responsible for singing here.
Okay.
No, not.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And you asked me, so do you want to have a podcast in Russian? And I thought, it's kind of boring because everyone speaks Russian, and what can Russians know about us, what they don't know about
exactly.
themselves.
Russians live in Russia, so
yeah.
they basically live the same. They lead the same life just
but
like we are.
Since we speak English, I'm an English teacher.
Uh-huh.
You are a lecturer.
Are you sure? Only a lecturer?
A lecturer, a writer, a diplomat.
Yes. And actually, I run an English-speaking faculty at the most international university in this country. Sorry, I'm not that modest.
Okay. I'm a bit modest. I'm just an English teacher.
One of the best in this country, by the way.
No, there are no, ratings. The best teachers, the worst teachers.
Well, in the heart of my heart, you are the best.
Okay. And English, we decided to make it in English because we want to be heard by some other people in the world, in other countries, not in Russia, because we surely have something to say, something to explain, to share, yes, maybe some of our traditions, but also we want to show that we're the same. Actually, we have the same problems, and this is going to be a podcast about a family.
Yeah, song number 2. We share the same biology, regardless of ideology.
Oh my God, no.
Sting is one of the best. Well, Russians.
Yeah.
I love this song.
But a very important point that we are not going to cover any politics.
No diplomacy. We had it enough.
Yes, no politics, but practical things around us, around family, what we usually do, how we live, how we struggle.
What we do, by the way, it isn't only about struggling; it's also about enjoying life. By the way.
Yes, of course.
A very dismal Russian outlook on life.
So this is how we decided to have it in English.
And first of all, we would like to apologize for any mistake that we will make, because we are not natives. We really try to be as best as possible. We will try to rectify any mistakes that we will make, but still we would like to apologize for that, because we are not perfect.
Yeah, and the podcast is not created for learning purposes at all.
Absolutely
No. For me, I don't pursue any goals to
I pursue one goal, by the way.
Okay.
To finally have a conversation with you.
In English.
In English.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Without fighting, yeah.
Yes. Because it's going to make you, a little bit hard to, say everything that you have on your mind. because you have to do it in
Yeah, I
English.
have to process it before saying, yeah, I have to translate it into English
So
first.
you see, nagging at me in English makes it harder than in Russian.
Okay, so no fighting here.
No.
Yeah, mistakes are acceptable. We're not going to correct each other or analyze what we've just said. Yeah. So,
What makes us a Russian family? Because we're not the only Russian family in this country.
we are a Russian family. We are a real Russian family because we live in Russia, first of all. We live in Moscow. Not
Not
in the
all
city
Russian
center.
families live in
Moscow.
Moscow.
Yes, I have to say that we live in the suburbs. So Moscow suburbs, and we rent a flat, a very typical thing for Russian families. A 2-room flat with our baby. By the way, we have a baby.
His name is George.
Oh, yes, he's an adorable kid. Yeah, he doesn't speak
Yet.
Russian.
Yet. No, well, he says something like ga ga ga, ba ba ba, boo boo boo, which is more or less indicative of what he's trying to say, what point he's trying to make.
Yes. But as for English, again, let's come back to this point. Not so many people in Russia speak English.
Yeah. Fun fact number 2.
And it's not a fun fact, really.
It's not a fun fact, but still it is a fact that out of 145 million people living in this country, there are only 7 million people who at least have a limited command of English. I'm not talking even about a high quality of English, because when it comes to ordinary Russians, they are not that English, well, I would say they're not quite familiar with English. And sometimes you can find even different schools where English is not a language that is instructed. For instance, we have so many different relatives who used to study German as their first language in schools, which is quite odd, especially taking into consideration the fact that, 80 years ago there was a conflict between Germany and Soviet Union, but Soviets, they still instructed German more than English, which is also a very interesting aspect to that. And now, also, not that many Russians are trying to study English, preferring to study Chinese, which is very popular now, Arabic, different Oriental languages. There's a new wave of interest.
But still English is number one.
Yes, it is number one, absolutely. But in absolute figures, 7 million people out of 145 million people, geez, that's not too much.
Can you count the percentage? Because I'm not very good at it.
I'm not. I'm very bad at. I really hope.
5%.
I really hope that when in editing you will put here different figures showing exactly how much.
Okay.
What is the share?
Let me count. Okay. So it's about 5%.
5%.
I guess English is getting less and less popular nowadays. But since many people are trying to travel. Not only to Europe, but to Asia, to Africa, to South America, even to the US sometimes.
Do you happen to know what is the destination number one for any Russian in these realities?
In these realities?
Yes, in 2022 and 2023.
It's not Turkey anymore. Not Turkey, no, because it got really expensive
Neither
to
Europe
go there.
nor Turkey.
The Maldives.
No.
Yes.
Maldives is number 3.
Number 3.
Yes,
okay.
I googled these statistics prior to coming.
Oh, yes. I said it. I told you that you're responsible for this boring stuff. Okay.
Yes, so destination number 1 is the United Arab Emirates. But although it is an Arab country, well, they flock together in Dubai. Dubai is an English-speaking town rather than Arabic, because as you know, natives, those who are initially residents of this country, they account for only 10% of the entire population. 90% are migrants from all over the world, and that's why English is that important. So
yes, Dubai.
So when in Rome, when in Dubai, you do have to use English.
Yeah, that's true. Dubai is accumulating lots of cultures, people around the world, from Europe.
So many Russians.
Yeah, many Russians too, of course. Though I see this trend that those who are living in Dubai, I mean Russians who are living in Dubai now, they don't aspire to learn English. I guess they hope to make it the second Sochi or
Yes.
some kind of resort
A
city,
Russian-speaking
a
resort.
Russian-speaking resort. Yeah.
Don't you think that another issue is that Russians are not that exposed to English to the
Yeah,
English
of
world and
course.
to Englishness in general.
Yeah.
So it is very hard for yourself to find an
Yeah.
incentive to
Yeah.
study English, because where you are surrounded by English, well, you naturally make great leaps in when in your advancement in your progress in language, and it is very hard to speak English on a daily basis without anyone in your surroundings who actually is native.
Yes, yes, that's true. And tip number one, if you learn a foreign language, you have to surround yourself with the language that you're actually studying. Yeah, watch something, watch TV, listen to music, listen to podcasts, for example. Read, surf the internet with English, not with Russian. I don't know, switch on the English mode in your smartphone. Yeah, these are some first tips. Of course, the advice for beginners and for proficient users is different. Yeah, so if I want to continue learning, being exposed is not enough.
How did you end up instructing English and being an English professor? Because, well,
I'm not an English professor. I wouldn't say English professor is something.
okay, how would you call your trade? Your profession? Your job?
Teacher. I'm a teacher.
An English teacher.
An English teacher.
Yes,
yeah.
but teachers, in my eyes, are those who go on a regular basis to an institution, be it a school
All right,
or university.
Yeah, okay, I have
So,
to explain it. Okay,
yeah, please.
I'm a freelance English teacher. It means
Oh.
that I work for myself. I'm a self-employed teacher. Self-employment is quite widespread in Russia. And I work with adults primarily. So I teach adults from the age of 20.
What are the main incentives that drive people to
learn English?
Yes, to learn English, because they don't do it you don't do it on a free basis. You get money for that, so they spend money on
Yes.
studying English.
There are a few reasons. First of all, when this is my own philosophy. In fact, you have to be prepared for anything in your life. You never know what comes next, tomorrow or in 2 weeks or next year. And learning English gives you this kind of confidence that whatever comes, you're ready for this. You can find a job, you can go to another country, you can immigrate, relocate. You can find something in your country, you can teach English to someone, yes, if you know it really well.
And in terms of, the world in general, what do you think? English nowadays, it is the language of an English-speaking countries, US, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
So when I was learning English, I studied it at university, and I specialized in Great Britain. So I learned its history, politics, economy, everything, basically everything, yes. I studied books, Churchill.
So you know all heirs to the throne after Charles III.
Okay, I know only...
Only William, come on.
No, I know...
Your Royal Highness, I'm sorry.
Yes.
His Royal Highness,
yeah. I know lots about it, or at least I knew. I know that I knew.
You used to know.
I used to know. Now, I think that, you've said it, that if you go to the UAE, you will speak English. If you go to Vietnam or Thailand, you will speak English. If you go to Japan, you will speak English. And you're supposed to speak English wherever you are in this world. That's true. Maybe except for some countries. If we come to Russia, if a foreigner comes to Russia, he's got this sense that no one speaks English here. But this is, we see statistics that this is true, that only 5%, what is it? And actually, I've read a bit more the statistics. They say that these 7 million people mostly live in big cities, Moscow, Saint Petersburg, less in Kazan or some other cities.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, if they go to some provincial city
Mm-hmm.
or to some Siberian city or to the Far East, they are unlikely to meet a person who knows English.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sad.
Does it have to do with, I don't know, with their financial status, with the way how they earn, or how they are exposed to the world in general? So, what makes a person, what drives a person to study English? Because, well,
Traveling, I guess this is the
traveling.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
traveling. Yes. So I told you about the philosophy. Yes, it gives
Mm-hmm.
them some kind of
Mm-hmm.
certainty that
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're ready for this world and
Mm-hmm.
whatever is coming. But traveling is the way how you can test
Mm-hmm.
your English knowledge, and if you
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere abroad,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can basically.
So, let's get back to our families and the fact that we're
Yes.
from a multi ethnic country. Do you happen to have any relatives who are not Russians per se? Maybe they are semi Russian or representing different
No.
peoples of the country.
No.
Are you sure? Because well, when it comes to your name, because well, your maiden name is Vasilevskaya, and I can say that you have certain Polish
Okay.
roots in your family.
I know that my great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not sure what you are trying to say.
I'm trying to say that Vasilevsky is not a Russian
Okay,
name.
it's not a Russian.
Absolutely.
It's not a Russian
a Polish
surname.
name.
Okay, it's a Polish surname. Yes,
Yes,
it has
okay.
Polish roots.
Mhm.
That's true. But my great grandfather
Mm-hmm.
was born in Kaluga as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandfather was
Mhm.
born in Kaluga.
Mm-hmm.
My father was born in Kaluga.
Mhm.
So everyone, yes, they traveled between the countries. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, these were not
Mhm.
different countries, but the same
Mhm.
country. But
Mhm.
now these are two different countries, Russia and Belarus.
Mhm.
Yes, these are two different countries.
You see. So you
Yes,
see. Mm-hmm.
Belarus is really close to Poland, so
Mhm.
there's why. Yes, I guess there was some
Mhm.
influence from that region.
It's because, well, when it comes to origins, I'm only half Russian and I'm half Ukrainian because, well, my mother, she was born to the couple who came initially from a Ukrainian town of Kharkiv, but they moved to Saint Petersburg nowadays, and that's why
Saint Leningrad.
Saint Petersburg, yeah, Saint Leningrad, yeah. Saint Petrograd. There are four names of this town throughout the
Yeah,
history.
Leningrad, Petrograd, Saint
No,
Petersburg.
no. It's Saint Petersburg initially because it
Okay.
was founded
Yes,
by
yes,
Peter the Great
yes.
in 1703. Sorry for sounding so intelligent. Then Petrograd during the World War One because Russia was well actually fighting against Germany, and that's why the capital of the empire could not be named in a German way. And that's why they decided to rebaptize it into Petrograd. Then Leningrad, because St. Petersburg was the cradle of the Great Russian Revolution. It was the place where everything happened, and that's why it was named after the founder of the Soviet Union. And then, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, one of the first decisions that were made by Boris Yeltsin in order to part ways with our Soviet heritage was to rename Leningrad into St. Petersburg. So yes, and that's why my grandfather and grandmother, they being of Ukrainian descent, they moved to Leningrad because this was one big country. Where I was born in Libya, in Tripoli, because I was born to a family of Russian diplomat. Yeah,
I make a
and
look of surprise. I haven't heard it before.
you knew that. Yes, exactly.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Were
when
you
making
born
vows.
Oh.
Do you remember that? when we got married
Okay.
several years ago. Yes, I was born to a family of a Russian diplomat. He was one of those who was fluent in Arabic, and that's why he used to work in this region for a very long time and for several decades. And that's why I used to live in Libya especially prior to the Arab Spring revolutions in 2011. We got evacuated from that country, and I do remember this country very well. I really love it, and I really hope that one day I could visit it after all this turmoil will, yes, will finish in a certain way. Yeah. Yes, and that's why I do understand the mentality of those who live abroad and who got sometimes homesick. Because when living abroad, you are not exposed to Russia, to Russian culture, to Russian cuisine, by the way. That's why I love...
yes, I know many people miss grechka. This is buckwheat.
No, I don't like buckwheat, but I miss...
personally, yeah, but many people miss buckwheat.
I miss dumplings. Borscht and dumplings.
Pelmeni.
Yes, pelmeni, dumplings, borscht, absolutely so. So my family, we used to cook it, although it's quite hard in terms of just, preparing this Russian specialty. Because
do they grow beetroot in Libya?
Yeah.
Yeah, beetroot?
Yes, yes.
Do they eat it?
You can find it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not
cabbage?
Yes, everything.
Yeah,
you can find
okay.
it. Well,
so why do you say that it's difficult?
Well, it's just difficult, in a certain way to when living in a different culture, you get accustomed to a certain patterns of eating of cooking as well. For instance, do you happen to see what is the main difference between your beverage and my beverage? For instance, you drink tea and I drink water. Do you know what is the difference between our traditions? You're a Russian. Absolutely. So drinking tea is absolutely Russian.
Yes.
It is a distinguishing feature of any Russian just to drink tea. And in a certain way, yes. And, living abroad makes you really homesick because you miss not only cuisine, not only patterns. You miss virtually everything. For instance, I used to miss Russian TV because we never had Russian channels that would broadcast anything.
Yeah, there was no internet at that time.
At that time, no.
Yeah, we have to remind it. That
yes, we are the last generation from old stone age of those who
didn't have... millennials. We have
millennials. We were born in the 1990s, exactly. So in a certain way, yes, but I believe that I am not the best representative of the country because I used to live abroad for a very long time. And can you please dwell upon your own town of Kaluga? And nobody can see it, but this is a sweet shot from Kaluga. I'm trying to show myself as a person who loves this town.
People will look at this sweet shot and will try to see something.
And decipher what is written here.
Yes, but there was no actually mention of Kaluga on the sweet shot.
I know, but this is from Kaluga. You might see it here. Well,
I can say that this is a traditional pattern. Yeah, pattern. Mm-hmm. Pattern from Kaluga.
It's a patchwork or what?
No, not patchwork. Mm-hmm. Patchwork is different.
Okay.
It's just a pattern.
Yes, it's about the cradle of cosmonautics. Can you tell something about that?
Yes.
The town
I
of
was
Kaluga.
born in Kaluga. I was raised in Kaluga. I lived in Kaluga for 17 years before I entered the university. And Kaluga is a small city. Well, kind of small.
Roughly 300,000
300,000, yes. Yeah. 300,000.
Mm-hmm. But there is a Kaluga region, so it makes
there
the capital
is a Kaluga region.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, if we compare it to the US, it's like a state.
Like a state, yeah. Is it an affluent state or is it poor in terms of, financially speaking? Because...
Well, Kaluga is really close to Moscow, so it's only 200 kilometers from Moscow. There's why, due to its proximity to Moscow, there were really many business ties and many international business ties. There were car companies, and there are still car companies, but their activities are suspended at the moment. Volkswagen, Peugeot, Citroën. Sorry for my French pronunciation. Skoda, Mitsubishi. Sorry for my Japanese pronunciation. I don't know how to say it in Japanese. I say it like a Russian.
Like Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi.
You're not allowed to say sushi, by the way.
Some people say Mitsubishi.
But you're not allowed to do so in terms of Japanese. In Japanese, you're not
They
allowed
never
to say sushi. Sushi.
Sushi,
Mitsubishi.
Yeah, Mitsubishi. It's okay. So yes.
My first boss was an ambassador to Japan. That's why I do know something about Japan.
Yeah, you've been to Japan, but
yes,
it's not about you now.
Sorry.
It's not about you now. It's about Kaluga. Yes, and there used to be many international companies, so there were many foreigners in Kaluga. I remember that time. Actually, one of the reasons why I spoke French really well, because I could practice it with real French-speaking people, with French, who came from Paris or from some other cities to work in Kaluga. They had a contract, maybe 1 year or 2 year contract. Some people came with their families. And sometimes I had a teacher who could connect me with these people. So they said, oh, there is Alina who knows French and speaks Russian, so she can teach you Russian while you can teach her French, for example. Yes, and this is how we helped each other. And there were really many foreigners at that time.
Even back in 2018, sorry to interrupt you, I do remember that during the football FIFA championship here in Russia, there were even African national teams stationed in Kaluga. I do remember when visiting a store to buy, something, there was just this queue. It was filled with journalists, football players, all of them coming from Ghana or any African. Senegal, yes, exactly.
Yes,
so
yes.
There were even African national teams coming to Kaluga.
Ordinary people, ordinary foreigners are still coming to Kaluga. I see a few people in the streets. Yes, and Kaluga is known as the cradle of cosmonautics, of the Russian cosmonautics.
The best museum.
Yes, the best space museum in the country. Yes, because a pioneer of the Russian space science, Tsiolkovsky, lived there. He wasn't born there, as far as I remember.
He was born in Rязань.
Yeah, he was born in a different city, yes.
There is this of war fight between Rязань and Kaluga
yes.
On this issue.
He lived there. He developed his ideas there. He wrote a few books. He's famous for creating modern spaceship prototypes. So a space rocket that a space rocket that we see nowadays is actually the product of his ideas. Though he died in the 1930s, so even before. I'm not sure when Gagarin was born, the first cosmonaut. Maybe
I believe at that time.
Yes,
maybe
yes.
prior to that, but still. Well, but Korolev was actually one of his
students. Yes, I remember a photo of them.
Yeah.
Yes, but Gagarin, for example, never saw.
No, absolutely
never saw Tsiolkovsky because.
Yes, so there is Tsiolkovsky, Korolev, and then Gagarin.
Yes. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So yes, the idea, Tsiolkovsky, then the rocket itself, Korolev spaceship, and Gagarin as the first person. And this is why, and Tsiolkovsky died in Kaluga. This is why Kaluga is famous for its space science. It's quite a provincial city, even though it's close to Moscow. It's a provincial city. If you go to any other city in Russia with the same population, you will see more or less the same picture. But if I say provincial, I don't mean that it's bad. Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's just small, but it has everything, of course. And I like Kaluga really much for this access to everything within 15 minutes. This is what I miss in Moscow because we live in the suburbs. Yes, if we lived maybe somewhere in the city center, but still, if you live in Moscow, If you want to go from one place to another, you have to spend more than an hour. More than an hour.
Your whole day.
Yeah, your whole day. Yes, if you have one task, you plan one task a day.
That's very true.
Yes, if you want to go there and there and there in Moscow, you are likely to fail.
You'll get lost.
Yeah. Somewhere in the metro, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
With this huge metro system with so many stations.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And how did we actually meet? Maybe this is important to to talk about.
Yeah, in a certain way, yeah.
Yeah, because how do Russian couples actually meet? Do you know?
No. Do you have
No?
any statistics on that?
Yes, I happen to have some statistics.
Come on. Shoot.
Yeah, but what are your suggestions?
Well, I don't know. Maybe in restaurants and cafes.
Oh,
in clubs,
how?
nightclubs.
So do you see a person in the restaurant and do you
approach and say, "How you doing?"
Oh my god.
Maybe when you're already graduated from university at your workplace.
Yeah, why not? In the workplace, yeah. It's cool. I know a few people who met each other at school and then they lived together. School, yes.
Oh, as early as this. My God.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't marry. No, we don't marry at school.
Please.
No, after school, after university, but they met each other in their maybe class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Cool.
in the workplace, yeah. Oh, dating apps.
Dating apps.
This is
Oh
what
my
we
God.
actually
Well,
avoided.
yes. Prior to all the events starting from 2022, there were several dating apps.
Tinder. Of course, everyone knows Tinder.
Yes, but are there any new applications that substituted Tinder in a way?
Yeah, I guess yes. There was a study which was carried out among 1,600 employed Russians who are in a relationship or married.
Mm-hmm.
And about 20% of those people met their future wife or husband at work, in the workplace. So this is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Then dating apps, 15%. And the third one, 11% of people met their better half among friends. So they had some common friends probably.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth point, 9%, in the street.
Hey, hello.
What does
Come
that
here.
supposed to mean? Maybe, at a bus stop.
At a bus stop,
At a
come
bus
on.
stop. Oh yeah.
Of course.
Привет. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
How you doing?
Where are you going? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Or
Oh.
maybe in metro when you spend 1 hour of your time moving from one suburb of Moscow to a completely
another.
different suburb, and
Okay.
yes, when you spend about 3 hours a day in traveling, it's absolutely natural that you start making friends with those who are going with you at that time.
Yeah, and university is the next one. So only 6% of people meet their partner at university. So our story is not really common as we see it,
Yeah,
according to statistics.
not so common. Yeah.
Yeah, 6%. Yeah, we met at university.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was in the dormitory. Or, as they say, hall of residence. Yeah, hall of residence. Okay. Yes, we met in the hall of residence. I lived there. Alex lived there as well. We met. It was my birthday party, I guess.
It's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Song number 4.
Okay,
Well, yeah, we met. It was your birthday party.
but we didn't know each other before that.
No. We, although we were at the same school, the same faculty, we led a completely different lifestyle because
But
Alina was a bookworm, the person who studied a lot. I was, spending my time everywhere, but not studying properly, because I was really interested in different concerts and just
This is the person who actually graduated with a degree with
summa
honor.
cum laude.
With honor 2 times, yeah.
Exactly.
I never had this red diploma.
Yes,
in my hands.
Red diploma are for those who graduate with summa cum laude or just cum laude, and the blue one,
Do you know
a
some
regular
people
university.
or any people know?
Sorry, these expressions?
Yeah.
Any top graduate from Ivy League
Okay.
universities.
Okay.
Sorry. You can write here exactly these Latin expressions, summa cum laude, so that everyone can remember that.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Just with honors. So red diploma are with honors, and the blue one for those who just, finally graduated.
Yeah, at that time, yes, I was studying really hard, and was not ready for any kind of relationship. But suddenly, here you were.
Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like lovers do.
All right, yeah, this is how
Song
we met.
number 5.
Okay, yeah, song number 5. Great. And this is how we met. And then our relationship developed really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, because we studied together for 2 years at university.
Yeah.
Even doing the same class.
Yeah.
French class.
And before you knew, you fell in love with me.
Oh, no, I fell in love with you really fast. Really fast. I didn't actually...
You do see now
refuse.
the expression extremes meet, because we're really different.
Are we?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You're clever. I'm not. You're beautiful. I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, they develop really fast. In 3 years. In 3 years after we met each other, we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've been married for 6 years already.
Mm-hmm.
Or almost 6 years. It's going to be 6 years in June.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lovely son. We live in Moscow.
And I would like to know more about that. What does it,
mean fast?
No, not in terms of fast. How different is your life in Moscow, because you used to live in a different town, when compared to other places in Russia? So living in Moscow and raising a baby
I
and
guess
just
this
in a
is
family.
for another podcast.
Okay, as you wish.
So this is how we met, and this is our family. Welcome.
Modern Russian family.
Whew.